if there's other follow-up work, we could extend the budget hearing until December 23rd. Also on November 23rd, you did hear we're going to have a couple of street improvement public hearings. And in talking to Mr. Love today, I asked him about the public participation at those meetings, and it was very positive. People are, of course, they're really anxious to have the work done, so it should be a relatively straightforward public hearing. It seems like there's a lot of support for those two projects. So that's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So that brings us to council presentations, N1 and N2. Councilmember Juneman.
Thank you. Actually, I'm going to insert a N1A, as long as you were having the conversation and the police chief was speaking to the crime or the crime occurrences. The old antique up here is going to say one more time, crime watch. It's another tool, and it does make a difference, and it's made a difference for many years actually in our neighborhood. And there are some basic crime prevention tips, protection tips, if you will, that go with Crime Watch. And perhaps we should start putting those occasionally in our city newsletter. I think it's just good to remind people how to watch out for themselves and for other people. County Road B Trail, I'm speaking of the trail that goes west from White Bear Avenue. And I have to just comment now that it's completely done. The landscaping and everything is really, really nice. And I've seen a lot of people walking on it already. Both kids going to and from the school over there, but also adults going to the bus and people walking their dogs. And I think it must have been something they were just waiting for. So and it looks wonderful. So kudos to everyone on our staff who had anything to do with that. And then my last one is about the tree ordinance. We had at workshop earlier tonight, we had the presentation of the updated tree ordinance. I just want people to know it's there, and once it's adopted after 2 readings, it will be available online. But it's an new simplification, I should say, of what was there before. It should be easier to understand, and it's also, at least makes me happy, that we are very heavily into preservation of our trees and what they do for us as a community. So I just want people to know it's there. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Cardinal.
Thank you, Mayor. I would just like to congratulate the elected city council members, Tu Young and Brian Smith. I'd like to also congratulate Ms. Longry for running, and thank the voters for voting in this past election.
Thanks, Councilmember Cardinal, and I thank you for you and Councilmember Copeman as we finish out the year, and I'm sure we'll have some cake and coffee at the least, but we appreciate your service, and elections are always interesting, so we appreciate you mentioning that.
We have more fun than cake and coffee.
Well, I'll let the city manager discuss that with our council folks. Councilmember Cardinal, I also know you're a veteran, and so happy Veterans Day. And Marine Corps, right? Yeah. Where did you serve?
I served on the East Coast, 3 years active duty, and over in the Mediterranean Sea.
So thank you. And Councilmember Cardinal was at the prayer breakfast this week, and they always do this great thing with the vets where everybody stands up. I don't think we have any other vets, do we? Any vets on the staff? Or okay, so thanks. The Rush Line, just briefly, Mr. Thompson at the Rush Line meeting has offered another alternative because, you know, we heard a lot of feedback that the people on the Vento Trail are very concerned, and as well as the people in Sweet Hollow, and so that coming up the Vento Trail. So he added an White Bear arterial and possibly going down White Bear. I expressed concerns about it coming through Frost and English because I think it needs to come through that area because we want to have development in that area. So he added that on, I believe, and that was for the TAC, the technical committee. Then the PAC meets, and then if we adopt that, which I think we will, then we're going to have more options on the table. So I want to make sure that the public understands that. Yeah, so I think that's good, you know, and we've got to listen to what people are saying. And the other, I was going to do a little addendum, just the Kid City committee meet, and we met our main consultant that's hired, and